Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Backups Podcast. We are back. We are live. Tonight, we got a special show for you. We are doing a live fantasy mock draft, and it's for football. It's not for what you perverts are thinking, probably. I'm here with Tex, as usual.
I got Jenna Jameson.
Nailed it.
Oh, sorry. Hey, what's going on?
Yep, we got him, and we got the fantasy, or no, we got the draft crew here. We got Chad is with us. Chadley, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Now that I hear your sweet, manly, athletic voice, for sure.
Super athletic. Emphasis on overly athletic.
I just got done running a few 40s just to get ready.
Stay loose. And we got Thomasina is here. What's up, Thomas?
I'm here for the party, buddy.
Man, I am so glad to hear that. Yep, we are going to do a live fantasy mock draft. Very excited about it. I've got a dice roller deal here on my computer. I'm going to find us a mock draft lobby, and we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to roll for my position among. We're going to do a 12-person draft, standard, non-PPR. Nothing special for this one. We're not doing super flex or anything crazy like that. We're all very basic bitch here. Let me see. I'm going to be picking 10th. Tex, will you write these down for me?
Sure. Let me just grab my fucking pen that's implanted in my hand. Right. Oh, wait. I don't have one.
Okay. I got one.
I got a pen.
No, I've got it.
All right, so let's and then Tex, you're going to be picking. Literally, we can't both pick 10th. I'm going to reroll.
All right, so
Tex,
I'm going to scratch this out.
Yeah, you're going to be.
Hold on, where am I supposed to be?
10th.
Okay, no, you're 4th. You're 4th. I'm 10th. Tex is 4th. Because this thing rerolled 10 again.
Well, hold on. Are you? Okay, so we're
Just do it. You're 4th.
Am I supposed to be in a? I wrote it down, Seb.
Good. All right, Chadley, you are
7th.
7th. All right, and then Thomas, you are 2nd, buddy.
There we go.
All right, I actually like that a lot. All right, you guys been watching the Hall of Fame game tonight?
Indeed. Nice to see some football. I was just about to say that. That was it's going to be out of hand. We kind of talked about that during the game. I think they've got a lot of work to do on those new penalties.
Well, On top of that, I believe they have 6 or 8 new referees because the old crew apparently just died or something like that. They Ed Hockley.
Yep, links are coming, boys. Go ahead and snag on into this thing and pick your spots as soon as you can, please.
Oh, you said I was 10th. Okay.
No, I'm 10th. You're 4th.
Got my spot.
You must be
Seb, I think it's very ironic that you just happened to be in charge of where people were placed. I bet you just kept clicking until you got 10th.
No, I mean I could send it to you. I did click it 3 times because I got mine. I was like, okay, I'm 10th, and then I had clicked it 2 more times, and it gave me 10 both times. It's like, what the hell? This doesn't seem super random, but eventually it was fine. The odds.
What the hell?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I got to log in here.
Uh-oh. The old man struggles with the technology.
You say this is old Yespin?
Got my old iMac here.
Hey Siri? Siri? I need to go to Aspen.
I'm in, all right?
Yes, Chad. You are in Aspen. Team Mercy. Oh, no, that's Mercier.
There we go. Mercier, baby. It's all Team Mercier.
Mercier.
I don't
the
see
R
how
is
this
silent.
Even funny. They're not
sure.
even
The
making
second
fun of
one.
me being old
Okay.
anymore.
Ole!
No,
What's up, O'Leary?
You probably just forgot where it came from. It's cool, buddy. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yep.
And we're back.
Yep. The draft is in 5 minutes. Yeah. The Hall of Fame game. It's always really kind of a fun thing to watch, especially tonight because I know we were all kind of looking forward to seeing how Lamar Jackson would look. I didn't really expect much. He didn't really give me a lot. He made, I guess a couple of pretty decent throws. I didn't see anything spectacular though. Did you guys?
No.
Well, I think for me, what we all wanted to see is number one is pocket presence. And I think early on you noticed that he was very quick when pressure was in his face to run out of the pocket and use his legs. But I think from what I observed, he was brought down relatively quickly and maybe might have been brought back to earth and realized that the NFL is extremely fast. So, but once he settled down, that was the first drive. The second drive looked a lot more fluid. Looked like he calmed down a little bit. We were able to see a little bit of his arm strength. I thought it was a pretty good showing. He played in the second half, so
yeah.
It was all right.
Chad,
it was a good first outing for him. I think, like Tex said, I think that he definitely realized the NFL is a whole nother beast compared to college football. He's going to have to learn to throw the ball in the NFL. It's great to have these quarterbacks that can scramble. Especially for what we're talking about tonight, fantasy world. But in real football, they've got to be able to pass the ball, and he's going to have to work on identifying his receivers and checking down instead of just looking at his primary receiver and taking off.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thomas, what'd you think? Did you get a chance to watch?
Yeah, I feel like he had a good showing for what he had protecting him, for the receivers he had out there. He did rely on his legs first. Yeah, that's just the college quarterback that he was. And he's just going to have to learn to stand in the pocket, check down like Chad said, and then just unleash the cannon. Like, he has an arm.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's going to be fun to watch him develop and see what he has to offer.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I didn't like seeing him run first. I agree with you guys in the fact that I think he's got to come back down to earth probably amount of times because he took some pretty decent shots for sure on those scrambles that he was doing. He wasn't doing like he could in college, where essentially he could get to the sideline before anyone else on the defense and get a solid 8 yards. And in this situation, he was getting maybe 4, maybe 3.
Yeah.
I don't even know that. I think maybe the longest one was maybe 3 yards from what I saw. But what better, place to be than with the Ravens, where you have former number 2 overall pick RG3, who is currently number 2 on the depth chart in terms of quarterbacks and backup quarterback. Somebody who's been at the top and has taken a very hard fall from the top. Scrambled a lot his first 2 years in the league, and that's somebody that has gotta be there to talk to Jackson and kind of calm him down. Sure. Somebody that can teach him, the correct way to play football, and Joe Flacco can teach him how to suck. So hopefully he's not teaching him how to run, because I don't think Flacco ever learned how to run as a boy.
No, probably not.
But that's just my
probably
opinion.
Not. I definitely wouldn't think so. What did you guys think about RG3's showing? I know, Tex, you said no way. The former second overall pick looked good against backups, and I'm like, well, yeah, but he could have looked bad. You know what I mean? Like, I thought he looked better than the field around him. Honestly, I thought, especially with, I didn't even see it, but Chad's the one that mentioned. Wasn't it you, Chad, that mentioned Brashad Perriman letting the pass go through?
Yeah, exactly. I actually thought RG3 looked pretty good. That one pick, it went right through. It was a perfect pass, and Perryman let it go through his hands. And other than that, which really wasn't his fault, I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah, that was my thought. Thomas, will he ever start in the NFL again?
Don't know if he'll start. Definitely a solid backup. Like, when I turned on the game tonight, I wasn't sure who was playing. I was like, damn, he's got an arm. Who was that? And I actually thought it was Lamar Jackson playing in place.
Why would you think that? Why wouldn't it have been Joe Flacco? Why would you think that it was Lamar Jackson? I mean, that's the shit that we're trying to get rid of, man. It's those comments right there that's one of the reasons why players are kneeling. I mean, that's just
holding people down, bro.
Here, let's do this again. Seb, we're going to cut this part out. Let's cut this part. Just ask him the question again.
Yeah, it's unimportant. We're moving on. Draft's about to start. Boy O's, we're going to do a mock draft. I want to hear, just in the couple minutes that we have left, I want to hear kind of like the base of everyone's drafting philosophy. Let's say in like the first 4 picks, like Tex, how do you normally like to do in your first picks?
Well, let's preface this a little bit. Seb, how long have you been playing fantasy football? How many years?
Oh, God, since freshman year of college.
So 22, 23 years? How long?
No,
1928.
Yeah, exactly. 1928. Nailed it. No, I mean, so I guess probably 2018. 10 years now?
Okay, Seb has been playing 10 years.
Oh,
Chad,
man.
How long have you been playing?
Since the start of football.
By the way, I'm not a Johnny
Nice
Nice guy, man. I'm a Red Grange guy. So, I've been playing.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It's probably been closer to 15 years. I mean, Tex, you and I played in leagues back when I was still living in Atlanta. That was that's been going back a little ways.
And then, so we'll say 10 years for Seb, 15 years for Chad. Thomas, in total, how many years have you played?
3 to 4.
Because I know that you've played some years, took some years off, so 3 or 4. I think I'm at 8 or 9 years. So I think it's just interesting to see the different perspectives from somebody who's played, 3 or 4 years all the way up to 15. But I mean, I'll let Seb. Who did you want me to go first?
You just go ahead and say like what's your general philosophy in the first couple rounds are.
So this year I'm kind of leaning. It just depends on where you get drafted, but I'll try to keep it quick. If I'm in the back half of the drafting order, whether it's a 10-team or 12-team league, personally, I am going to opt to go for 2. Depending on who falls, but I might go 2 wide receivers. My thought is that, in terms of number 1 running backs, there's not really that many. So the idea is, if you're in the top, 12, picks in the first round, you're supposed to theoretically go for those running backs. The other side to that is that if you miss, you're going to miss hard. You're going to miss, pretty badly. And so my thinking is lock up 2 solid wide receivers that could potentially be 1 and 2 or top 3 or top 5 in the league in terms of wide receivers, and then get those high ceiling, players in potentially the 3rd or 4th round, whether it be, running back or, another wide receiver.
Sure.
So
that makes a lot of sense. What about you, Chad?
Usually I'm kind of a tier-based drafter. I like value. I'm always going on value. I try not to handcuff myself by saying I like to go, running back first or wide receiver first or whatever. It's based on value. I do have 6 guys that I consider my tier 1, and I'm the 7th pick. So I'm curious to see if.
Whoa. Shit just got real.
Sorry, Chad, we're out of time. Oh, shit, that went quick. All right, Thomas. Thomas is on the clock. I guess we're going to see Thomas's draft philosophy.
Wow.
Whoa.
Ooh. All right, so just to recap, Todd Gurley went number 1. Thomas had the number 2 pick out of the 4 of us. And Thomas, who did you pick?
Saquon Barkley. He's going to get a lot of touches this year. Eli's getting old. He's got a lot to prove on his rookie deal, so he's going to come out as a scat back on the backfield, get touches there. He's going to get the handoff. It's going to be fun to watch him.
I like it.
Nice. Okay, nice. David Johnson went number 3. No surprise there that 3 running backs are off the board. That leaves Le'Veon Bell, and Ezekiel Elliott as the two next best running backs. Now, I said if I was in the back of the draft, I would go wide receiver. But since I have a top 5 pick, I'm going to go Ezekiel Elliott. Not because I am a homer, but because I don't know how the whole Le'Veon Bell situation is going to go. There's some bickering back and forth, and I honestly think this could be a year that the Steelers miss the playoffs. I think it could be that bad.
Wow. That could be pretty interesting to see if that actually comes about. I mean, he's talking about holding out for 6 months or for 6 games or half the season, whatever. I mean, I guess he could.
He could. I don't see that happening. I mean, he's trying to get paid. So, I mean, if he's sitting on the sideline for 6 weeks, that's not helping his stock at all. He's going to play. And I think with the Steelers knowing it's his last season there, I think he's going to get the ball. He's going to get 350 touches.
He's going to get that DeMarco Murray treatment for sure. All right. Chad,
well, I think one of the problems has always been.
You're good. Yeah, no, I have a guy here that I'm going to pick that I was high on, but not nearly as high as I was until his teammate got suspended. That's Alvin Kamara. Okay. I think that he's not going to be able to keep up the efficiency that he had last year, but I mean, he only ran the ball. I think he ran the ball for about 700 plus yards, but he caught over 800 yards worth of passes on. He had 100 targets last year. The Saints throw the ball to the receivers more, or their running backs more than any other team in the NFL. So I think he's going to be a fantasy stud again.
No, I'm right there with you. I completely agree. I think that Alvin Kamara, man, he's
what? You've talked shit about Kamara more than a few times.
No, I mean, he's going to get the touches. I agree with Chad in that I don't think he's going to get the efficiency that he had last year. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a down year than it was, and teams are going to be able to plan for him a little bit more. With my pick here, I'm going to actually go ahead and go. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins at 9. I'm happy with that, considering like no player dropped out of the top 10 that was in the top 10 originally, and that's happened a lot so far this season when I've done my mocks. And I figured that I have another pick in 5 picks? Yeah, 4 picks actually. So I'll be happy to see what is left there. In 4 picks, we have like Leonard Fournette, Melvin Gordon if I want to go that way, or if I want to get fancy, I can kind of reach maybe for somebody, but I don't like reaching a ton. I actually more prefer value, but we'll just see what it looks like when the rest of these go down. What do you guys see the Texans doing this year?
I'm going to throw something out that's super gross. I'm actually starting to warm up to Lamar Miller a little bit, only because I know, Justin, I know. Well, I'll tell you why. I think he's going to get the ball 250 plus times out of default because I think Foreman's going to start the year on the pup, which means he's going to miss the first 6 games this season. Beyond that, you've got Alfred Blue. When Deshaun Watson was healthy, Lamar Miller had almost 15 fantasy points a game and only about 10 when he was out. So, I mean, he's going to get thin lines. He's going to get the ball a lot. He's going to get, I mean, I think it's the same argument. I mean, he's not the same player as Saquon Barkley, but he's going to get the ball a lot. So it's kind of gross, I know, but, and I'm not taking him anytime soon, but, I think the Texans are going to give him the ball a ton.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. All right, well, the people that are picking 11th and 12th are on auto draft, so I'm back on the clock right now. We have Melvin Gordon and Michael Thomas still on here.
Those are, in fairness, those are the next in terms of like best player available. They're in order. Melvin Gordon and Michael Thomas are on the board at 15
according
and 16.
to ESPN's rankings of them right now. It just kind of depends. I feel like Melvin Gordon's going to have another really good year, just very solid and consistent. And I think I'm going to snag him. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and snag Melvin Gordon. I think that having a wide receiver 1 and a running back 1 like Melvin Gordon and DeAndre Hopkins, who are going to be very consistently giving me a good fantasy points kind of every game. I like having that as my number 1 and number 2. And then I like kind of taking chances on players a little bit later.
I think
I'm a big believer in, reaching for players that you feel are going to be good outside of where they're necessarily ranked. I think if you rely solely on these rankings each and every year, there are always players that shoot up and drop drastically. These are just preseason rankings, and if you have a particular feeling about a player certain year and you're high on them or low on them, I use these rankings really with about 50-50 in terms of how I view them versus
Chadley. What you got, Chadley?
The guy I don't love, but I think that out of default, again, Devontae Adams. I mean, you've got Aaron Rodgers, who's going to throw 30-plus touchdowns. Who's going to catch him, I'm not in love with the guy, but I think that he's going to be consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers really likes him. He put up when Aaron Rodgers is on the field, Devontae Adams puts up really good stats. And I feel like that, like you said, where the hell else is he going to throw? I mean, Geronimo Allison is supposed to kind of emerge a little bit this year, but I'm not 100% positive on that. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers could have a really big season, but we'll see. Tex, you are on the clock with the 21st pick. What are you thinking, bud?
So I'm torn. I know Larry Fitzgerald is pretty much perennial top player. I'm going to go a little bit out of my comfort zone.
Love it.
I'm going to draft Adam Thielen. Thielen and Diggs are both solid players. They get a really good new quarterback to throw him the ball. I think Minnesota is widely regarded as a top 3 team in the NFC, and they've made a lot of moves.
I love that pick, man. That was actually
really
who I was going between
to show off this year.
Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams, and Adam Thielen. That's who I was trying to decide between.
Nice. Yeah, that both are really good, solid choices. Thomas, what are you thinking, bud?
Thinking hard.
Thomas has the 23rd pick. The top 2 players available right now is Devontae Freeman and Rob Gronkowski, followed by Mike Evans, number 3. So, again, I look at the draft board, and I really don't ever really have a problem reaching if I feel a player is really going to outperform where he is.
Thomas goes Stephon Diggs.
ranked.
You want to tell us about that, buddy?
You just spent how many millions of dollars on a quarterback?
They just paid Diggs too.
You're going to throw the ball a lot.
He's locked up for 6 years. Some crazy shit like that.
It's back to me.
Hey guys, could you mute the draft so we don't have to listen to that every time? Top right of your screen on the green bar, there's a little microphone looking thing.
Good idea.
Yep.
Everyone good?
Boom.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Oh,
Thomas. All right, so Thomas.
Whoa.
All right, so Thomas, you're a tight end early guy. Tell us about that.
I mean, why not? In tight situations like that, New England, when they get down in the red zone, who are they going to go to? So I'm going to lock up some points easy and early.
I like it. Tex? Oh, of course. Tex, tell the people about your infatuation with this guy.
Here's the thing. You guys are going to laugh at me right now. And Seb and I have been talking about this man, Josh Gordon, for, I don't know, almost 10 months now. He's a physical freak. If you follow him on Instagram, you're kind of getting the behind-the-scenes look at his progression. He's focused. He is in probably the best shape of his entire life. He is coming into an offensive system that is ran by Todd Haley. He's finally has a quarterback to throw him the ball. I'm telling you guys right now, he is going to be a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. I said it last year with DeAndre Hopkins, and after a down year, The year before, a lot of people were sleeping on Hopkins. I'm going to say it with Josh Gordon. We haven't seen anything near 100% Josh Gordon in 2 years,
Sure.
2.5 years. This guy has a ton of tread left on the tires. He's focused. He's in the best shape of his life. He is going to kill it this year.
I like it.
Kill
So
it.
Chad, with the 7th pick of the 3rd round, ended up going Jerick McKinnon with the.
Yeah, actually, I love that that team, that partnership between Shanahan and McKinnon. I think he's going to be the next Devontae Freeman in terms of that system that he runs in San Francisco, that he's going to be running in San Francisco. He's going to catch the ball a ton, and they didn't draft anybody. I mean, he's got no competition. I'm not afraid of Matt Breida. I think he's going to get the ball a ton. So, and he's going to catch the ball. I know this is not a PPR league, but for PPR leagues, I think he's going to be a gem.
Sure. Yeah. I like your reasoning there. I'm actually
little known fact before you go on the clock.
Oh, I'm already.
Little known fact: Matt Breida and Jerick McKinnon both went to Georgia Southern. 2 Georgia Southern running backs on the same team.
Nice.
Who would have thought that, right?
Actually. All right. So with my pick, I reached.
Just throw that out there.
Yeah. So
True.
with my last
Very
pick
true.
I just did, I'm on the clock again right now. I reached a little bit, but I was telling Tex about this week, and he was, of course, telling me I'm an idiot. But I like taking flyers because I have good, solid RB1 and wide receiver ones at this point. I picked Amari Cooper. I think that number 1 wide receiver in Jay Gruden's system always do really well. And then for this pick, I'm going to reach again, not too much, but I'm going to get my boy Alex Collins, of course.
Damn. That is a little bit of a reach, but I love it. Me personally, I would have gone with either Joe Mixon, Kenyon Drake, because I think they have a ton of upside. Darius Guice is making a ton of waves right now and noise in preseason, albeit. But
yeah. What?
Yeah.
Chad's on the clock.
Chad.
All right. I've got a couple guys that I'm really eyeballing. One is Darius Guice. Do you guys know that the SEC is a pretty good conference in college football, and there's only one running back in the history of the SEC who has more yards per carry than Darius Guice? This guy named Bo Jackson. You might have heard of him. I think I just convinced myself. Yeah, boom. I think I'm going to take him.
Damn. Dropping some knowledge.
Pulling out that trivia. I like it, man. On the down low, I actually kind of like the Washington.
I do too.
this
I
year
actually
a little
do.
bit.
I like their team. Yeah.
Yeah. Tex, I know that hurts your soul a little bit. Thomas, what do you think about the Redskins this year?
They haven't changed their name yet.
The Caucasians.
And I'm the race. But no.
Oh, crap. All right, I'm on the clock. Best players available right now, we have Jarvis Landry, followed by Royce Freeman, Ronald Jones. Currently, I have Ezekiel Elliott as my RB1, Adam Thielen, and Josh Gordon. Right now, I'm currently torn between the upside, big playability of Derrick Henry. I've been a big fan of his. This is his 3rd year in the league. Boom. It's my little sleeper, boys and girls.
Because everyone's like super high on Henry right now, right?
So in terms of sleeper, if you look at the running backs that have already been taken off the board, he is in the 4th round. So in terms of sleeper, I see him being able to play himself into a top 10 running back, and to grab that in the 4th round is pretty big. So, and you saw the picture that I sent you guys before we hopped on this draft. Good God, Derrick Henry is a massive man compared to Deion Lewis, like massive.
Yeah, he's enormous. It's kind of comical. Thomas, you're on the clock, buddy. What are your thoughts?
Probably gonna go wide receiver here. I'm looking
right now. Thomas.
Wide receivers on the board. Who we got?
Jarvis Landry, in accordance with this, Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, Juju, Robert Woods, and so kind of your top ones right now. On Thomas's team right now, he has Barkley, Diggs, and
Nice.
Gronkowski. I like the team, filling it out.
Yeah, me too.
Going
I like
Schuster.
Yep.
I love
Lot
that
of
pick.
upside.
Actually, I love. I kind of like the order that it was in. Landry, although I think Brandon Cooks, in my opinion, might have a little bit more upside.
Sorry to interrupt. Real quick, Thomas, it looks like you might be on auto draft. It shows that on my screen. Just make sure you're not.
Yeah, there you go.
There
Or-
you go.
Come back.
There we go. I
Come
just wanted
back,
to make
Thomas.
sure, bud. 'Cause I didn't want you to miss your pick. Oh, yep. What kind of upside are we thinking with Juju Smith-Schuster? Like, what kind of yardage we think he's going to get this year? Tex?
I love him. I follow him on Instagram. The guy is a huge personality. He is a star in the making. Make no bones about it. The Steelers love him. That's one of the reasons why they were so quick to trade Martavius Bryant, on top of the fact that Martavius Bryant is a fucking idiot. So I think, this is his second year going into his third year. You have wide receivers at the end of their second year really start to explode. So look for Juju to start putting up some big numbers week 8, week 10, and really come on strong at the end of the
I like
the
it.
second
Thomas,
year for him.
you're back on the clock, buddy.
I know.
Yep, Thomas' last pick with Juju Smith-Schuster, as we were just talking about. Chad, what do you think?
I like him. I'm a little concerned with James Washington coming in, to be honest with you, but they play different roles in that offense. Yeah, they play different roles in that offense, but I do like Juju Smith-Schuster, and I think that offense actually texted he was afraid they might not make the playoffs, but I mean, I feel like talent-wise, they've got everybody coming back. They were 13-3 last season, so they may not be 13-3 again, but I think that offense is going to be huge.
Yeah, and everything. Sorry, go ahead.
Here's why I said that. Well, this is what I was going to say. Here's why I said they might not make the playoffs. Number one, for the past 2 seasons, Ben Roethlisberger has, had tons of talk around, will he play another season? Is his head in the game? Big Ben has a bad game, and it really rattles him, I think, more than ever in his entire career. On top of that, with Big Ben getting older, their offensive line is getting older. Their playmakers are Le'Veon Bell, who a large portion of the offenses ran through Le'Veon, and it looks like he's playing cat and mouse games. I think that 1 or 2 pieces could fall, and that team really would unravel, and so it just scares me. And that's one of the reasons why.
From everything I've heard and read, James Washington has come in to Steelers camp and impressed the hell out of everyone, and that makes me really happy.
Yeah, that was your darling of
yes,
the 2018
Thomas, you ended up
NFL
going
draft.
Jarvis Landry. You have faith he's going to get enough touches with Josh Gordon there?
I got a question for you guys. I got a question for you guys. Why is everybody so sure that Jarvis isn't going to be the one?
I think,
and Gordon's going to be the number 2.
I don't know if I necessarily said that. I think they're 2 very complementary players. I told Seb this maybe a week ago. This funny quote that I saw. It was, Jarvis Landry will give you 7 yards when you need 5. Jarvis Landry will also give you 7 yards when you need 10. So in terms of his playmaking ability, he is going to get you a first down. But in terms of getting that yak or the touchdowns, I don't see that. I could see Josh Gordon catching 3 balls for 118 yards and a touchdown. And that's really what I see out of Josh Gordon. I think Jarvis Landry, and even with talk recently of Dez Bryant joining that team, those are going to be the guys that are going to get you the yardage through the hashes, where Josh Gordon will actually stretch the field and make it easier for those guys, but he's not going to have those 7 catches.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that with Tyrod Taylor behind center, it's like the perfect wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, honestly, because what he can do is get you those short. He's like very accurate at a short throw, and he's very careful with it. And I think the whole thing is you get Jarvis Landry a short throw, and then let him and Josh Gordon just do work with the ball. Like that's the entire point of Josh Gordon on a short slant route. That's his bread and butter. He showed that entire season last year when he started playing. It's my pick right now. I'm gonna go ahead and go with who Chad and I were talking about earlier. I'm gonna hit up Lamar Miller. I just think that's a good selection. Chad, you ended up going Corey Davis.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of a reach, but I really like the guy. I think the guy's massive. He was a first-round pick. In his first game last year, before he got hurt, he got 10 targets in his first game as a rookie. It's pretty impressive, and we saw what he could do when he came back in the playoffs. So I think he's going to be the number one. I think I read that Rashad Matthews is injured right now too. So I think that opens the door for him. I just think he's a big, huge target. That's going to be. I think that offense is going to take a lot of steps forward this year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's my pick again. Actually, I'm going to go with one of my kind of favorite solid players in this draft that I actually like a lot, in Michael Crabtree. I just think that with the Ravens, man,
good pick.
I just don't trust it a lot, and who else is Joe Flacco going to throw to, honestly, because it's not going to be Brashad Perryman.
And Crabtree is what, 33?
Yeah, probably.
Now? 32?
Yeah. But I just think
he's got to be up there.
Solid, man. That's the whole thing,
So my pick's coming up. I'm already going to tell you guys. Well, actually, sorry. I will keep my pick to myself, waiting for
you guys cut out there for a minute there. I didn't hear what you said.
No, we're good. We were just saying that we need to get you a couple of cases of Ensure for Christmas this year. We're just talking about
you guys are sweet.
No problem, buddy.
We guys.
No, yeah. I went Michael Crabtree with my pick, is what I was saying. Just I like it. I think he works there. Chad, you went Deshaun Watson. So
no, actually, that was a complete accident. Yeah, something happened with. I normally, honestly,
he logged out.
I would not have taken a quarterback.
Came back in.
Right here. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I didn't mean to do this, but I was looking at running backs and wide receivers still.
Who would you have taken?
I was leaning towards Tevin Coleman if I was going running back again.
All right.
I was even looking, believe it or not, looking at Evan Ingram.
Okay, well, you can keep him because I'm going Jimmy Graham. So I think Graham is a very, very quiet pick right now, and I think Bleacher Report just did a mini story on his ceiling being as ridiculously high paired up with Aaron Rodgers, but he's the fourth tight end taken in our draft, and we are at the back of the 6th round. So I think it's a prime location to take a tight end. I don't necessarily see him falling this far in regular drafts, but I couldn't pass up the value. But I'm just as high on Ingram. I think he's going to be a solid player. He showed tremendous talent last year, although there wasn't much around him. But but Ingram is definitely a stud.
In the next 5 seconds to see what he ends up doing.
Was that on purpose? Auto draft? Is he gone?
That's auto draft.
Thomas,
good old Thomas. I think
he's there. No, you meant to do it. All right, so Pat Mahomes.
I'm No. Yeah, for real. He's gonna have unlimited opportunity. He's gonna be able to run. He's gonna do what he wants to do. He's playing in the new system, so it's his job to prove that he wants to win the job, and just. I don't know, man. I got faith in the kid.
I think fantasy-wise, I think he's probably going to be pretty good. I think that defense is gone this year, so they're gonna be playing down from behind quite a bit. So he's gonna get a chance to throw the ball a lot.
This is going great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I just, I mean, you hear some rumblings coming out of the camp, like he's throwing a ton of picks. But honestly, I think Andy Reid said it best when they asked him about it. They said, "Look, dude, we're wanting him to throw the ball a lot and get comfortable in the system. We don't want him to be super timid and throw down all the time or check down all the time," which I think is a really good strategy, actually, that I feel like maybe quarterbacks don't get enough of in camp, rookie quarterbacks especially. Cotton's picks up next, or Thomas's picks up next. What do you thinking, Thomas? Where are you leaning, bud?
That type of talk.
Jeez.
Cotton picking.
Oh, God.
Racist.
See it. Oh, yep.
Here it comes. Aaron Hernandez. Wow, you killed it with that one.
I like it. I like the pick, man. I think that Duke actually has a lot of upside in that offense. Yeah, I mean, they did draft Nick Chubb and signed Carlos Hyde, but I think Duke Johnson has the best opportunity out of all of them to make a really big impact in the passing game.
See, what I worry about with Duke Johnson, I actually was pretty high on him, but it started to cool off a little bit. Is I think that Jarvis Landry actually hurts Duke Johnson the most because they were putting Duke Johnson all over the place. They'd throw him in the slot. They'd put him everywhere. And I think getting Jarvis Landry actually hurts Duke Johnson's production. My 2 cents.
I could agree with that. I just think that there's so
All right, boys.
I just think there's so many mouths to feed on that team, which is a very interesting thing to say about the Cleveland Browns team.
Right.
But I mean, that's where we are at this point. It's like, holy shit. The Cleveland Browns offense. Tex, you have the 76th pick, and you went with Robbie Anderson. Why?
Third year wide receiver. He has some legal dealings to potentially cloud his game in 2018. So I don't know if he'll get a suspension during this, the regular season, but he's a third-year wide receiver, a ton of upside. The guy is a monster. It doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball, but he's going to have Fitzpatrick back throwing him the ball. So, I mean, he is the true definition of a sleeper. So, wide receiver 1, man. I really do. I really think so.
Yeah, I think that if he gets his head on straight, I think he could do really well.
And he came on strong, if you guys remember, at the end of 2017, the last 4 games of the season. I think he was a top 3, top 5 wide receiver in the league. I mean, the guy just had ridiculous stats. So, and again, that was the end of his second year going into his third. So you always look for those elite wide receivers to make that jump at the end of their second year.
I agree. I'm on the clock right now. Okay, it's at this point in the draft that I kind of check to see if there's a running back with a pretty good amount of upside. I mean, I can, because the 4 picks after mine are all auto draft, I can look at the top of the draft because in these things, no one's queuing up a list and just kind of pick as I want to. I just. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and go Devin Funchess here just for some wide receiver upside, just because, I mean, DJ Moore is, he's a lot of talent, but I don't trust him that much to be stupendous this early. Does that make sense? And let me see.
Yep.
I know we talked about, we talked about this guy, and I think he's a high upside guy. I've been doing a lot of research today into kind of the team's formation and how they're going to use their stable of running backs. And I feel like he's actually going to have a really good year, and his upside is definitely RB2 or RB1 for sure. I'm going to go ahead and get Jamal Williams right there. I think that everything I've heard out of camp, man, is that he's shown everything and anything that is needed to be a number 1 running back. And if you're a number 1 running back and you can catch the ball, in an Aaron Rodgers offense, I think that's enough upside for me for a pick in the 8th round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so
Marlon Mack just went off the board. I know that you have a lot to
Week
say
one,
about
2 of them.
his competition
sure.
that's coming in, who's a rookie.
No,
well,
talk
I'm
about
thinking
that?
about Wilkins from Ole
Hines,
Miss.
right, Chad?
Yeah.
Yes, that's who I think about too, baby. I think that he's going to be the starter in probably the 4th
Yeah,
or
I
5th
do.
week, honestly. Oh, Chad, you son of a bitch.
That's my sleeper right there, man.
you just snaked him. I hate you so much. Yeah.
Really?
I think that in that
Y'all are that
offense,
high on him,
man,
huh?
with Matt Nagy, I think coming from the Chris Peterson, we saw what he can do and the variety of uses that he has. Man, Trey Burke.
Yeah, I do too. The guy's a ridiculous athlete too. I think he's going to fit in well. He went back and forth between quarterback, and he played like that H back as well.
Okay. Tex, you're up. What are you thinking, bud?
Cooper
Where you gonna
Kupp.
go? I like it.
I'm very wide receiver heavy. I like my 2 running backs, Ezekiel Elliott and Derrick Henry, both young. And like I said, there's going to be opportunity to pick up players that all of us are missing, whether it's right here who's still on the board. You got Rex Burkhead, you got Ty Montgomery, you have Kerryon Johnson, Carlos Hyde. All these players are not ones that are not pretty. They're not pretty right now, but they could be the darling once you get into the regular season. So I'm looking for high upside players in on the wide receiver side of the ball and position, and then wait for those potential running backs to
I think there's a
present themselves as
there.
the season goes on.
Let's see here. Thomas, you just made a pick, Nick Chubb. How do you feel about Nick Chubb, Thomas?
Love him. Watched him play a lot of ball at Georgia. As a Georgia Tech fan, he ran all over us. Being in that situation in Cleveland, it's going to be interesting to see what happens and what comes out of it. But I feel like whoever wins the battle is going to get the touches. He's going to get yards regardless just because he's a power back. He can run up the middle for 5 to 6. He can scat outside for 7 to 8. So it just depends on what situation he's in, but he's going to rack up some points.
I think one of the biggest
yards.
things that I talked about with you guys and after the combine was the fact that Nick Chubb, some of his physical stats at the combine and how he tested, especially in the speed-oriented things in the short yardage, 3-cone and whatnot, were actually a lot higher than, like, they were at the top of the participants in those. And I thought that was a really interesting fact because, I mean, when you think of Nick Chubb, I guess most people would think, as Thomas said, like a power back, which he is, but he's also actually kind of fast and very quick.
I just don't like the competition. I think there's a lot of talent in the running back field, and like I said, those players that are going to present themselves, you could easily pick Carlos Hyde and strike gold, or get fool's gold. So somebody's going to win that battle.
I was going to ask Thomas from just a strategic standpoint when it comes to fantasy football. You've got 2 running backs from the same team now. How do you work with both those guys?
I didn't think that through.
You didn't know that.
Yeah, because
me personally, I love that for the reasons that I just said. You stack your chips, spread them out, and it's almost like taking Josh Gordon and Jarvis Landry. I don't think that's a bad deal either. Somebody's going to present themselves. Yep.
I mean, I can bench him. I can trade. I can do it can be a power
Tex
move either
doing
way. So
the Bordeaux Thomas with his second pick in that round, or his last pick, he actually ended up going Jimmy Garoppolo. You think he's going to be all that, Jimmy G? Which
gunslinger and dates of points.
I forgot to look
porn
it up.
star. So
well, all right.
I didn't need.
Right? Dude, she's got massive boobs.
Just Google it
for your pick when you're on the clock right now.
If I wanted to piss you off, I'd draft Andrew Luck. But if I also wanted to lose my fantasy team, I would also do that. So instead, took Matt Ryan. I don't think the 9th round he will be there, but I like the value in this fantasy mock draft. I think it's pretty high. Edelman would have also been a really good position or player to take right there.
I like it. See, I keep going back and making and seeing because I see a bunch of quarterbacks coming off the board. I'm like, shit, okay, but I feel perfectly okay where we are right now. We're in the 9th round right now.
Well, we've been talking about the Cleveland backfield, and I'm going to take the guy who's actually still slated as a starter. That's Carlos Hyde.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think I liked Carlos Hyde last year. He actually scored me a decent amount of points when he played, even on a really, really bad team until the end of the season.
Yeah, he was banged up.
Did he get hurt
last year? And Breida came in and played quite a bit towards the end.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yes. I don't remember.
I
had to look it up.
Wasn't his knee? Is that correct?
Let me see here. All right, so I'm back on the clock now. I have the 106th pick. Oh boy, back to my team. Like Tex, I feel like I'm a little. No, I'm not wide receiver. I'm more running back. I'm actually very even right now. I have 4 wide receivers and 4 running backs. I feel okay right now where I am. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this guy. I liked him coming out of college. I think he has the opportunity on an offensive line that they've done a lot with. Especially this past offseason, picking the new center and whatnot. Kerryon Johnson.
I'm high on him. I like him quite a bit, actually.
Did we talk about him the other day on the text thread? Yeah, me too. I think that I think he has the potential to be really good. And especially, man, because I feel like the competition is not huge. Theo Reddick's not great, and Mir
Abdullah, Theo Riddick,
brain fart.
LeGarrette Blount.
Sign text. Yeah, LeGarrette Blount. I know. It's exactly it. Actually,
how do you forget LeGarrette Blount?
This is an odd pick.
Think of Super Bowls.
But I'm going to go ahead and pick up Chris Carson. Everything I've heard coming out of Seahawks camp is he is exactly what they want a number 1 running back to be. And apparently he's getting the first team reps. They're talking about Penny being more of a 3rd down back, even though Penny was never especially known for being a pass catcher coming out of college. Let's see.
I don't know. I have to see him actually on the field. He did catch a really good pass in the Senior Bowl this year from your boy. I think it was,
Mason.
It was either Mike White or Rudolph.
Yeah, I need to go wide receiver here. Right. And this guy is another kind of gross player, but he is the number 1 wide receiver on a team right now. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but I'm taking him. Yeah, he's the number 1 on that team, I think. So, yeah, they've got like 3 number 3 receivers, So I mean, it's not going to be Cole Beasley. It's not going to be who else do they have?
Why would you say it wouldn't be Cole in a PPR league? Cole Beasley 2 years ago with
400 yards or something.
Dak Prescott as a rookie was pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's a standard
option.
league.
Yeah, he had like 400 yards in the season.
Yeah, but it's in a season.
Oh God, make your pick, Tex. Wow.
Boom.
I mean, what he was known 2 years ago.
Don't
He
sleep.
won a lot
Don't
of
sleep,
people's
boys.
league, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Look for a big year. The Browns are going to the playoffs as a wild card, and they're going to win.
You are on the clock
behind Tyrod Taylor.
What you feeling, man?
Gonna go wide receiver again. Probably pick my kid here out of Atlanta.
Sanu.
Sanu.
I feel like that's a good pick for when Julio inevitably decides he doesn't want to play that day. He's just too tired. Just like he does on a lot of third downs, and it makes me sad all day.
It's or loses his little chain in Lake Lanier. We got all those things.
Funny.
So.
All right, let's see here. Thomas has another pick coming up. I'm just looking at, when you get to this point in the draft, like later on in later rounds, I think my philosophy generally goes towards I like young with high upside. That's kind of my deal. Then I don't particularly care if they're wide receivers or running backs at that point. I feel like it's easier to get a wide receiver that's going to have bigger impact later, unless an injury occurs, of course. But I mean, there's just no telling. There's no counting on that, really. Thomas is back up. Tex, what's your philosophy later on?
Well, this is about as later on as it gets. We're getting down to the last bench position before you have to go kicker and defense. Right now, I'm looking for a huge upside. I'm also looking for handcuffs, and the one that really is calling my name at the moment is Latavius Murray, Minnesota's backup running back. I know all of the talk is, with Cook, last year's first-round pick for the Minnesota Vikings, and he went down after putting up some really good numbers. And Murray had to shoulder the workload with Jerick McKinnon. But Cook is perennially, he's got injury concerns or, an injury history, especially a bad one. I know more and more people are coming back from those ACL tears, but his was a non-contact. And, he's a little brittle to me. So that's somebody that doesn't have a lot behind him. After Latavius Murray. So if Cook goes down,
in the world?
I have an instant plug and play.
Jimmy G's girlfriend. Her name is
running
Kiara
back.
Mia.
So,
that girl is thick, buddy.
That's who Drake was singing about.
Right,
Kiki,
Chad,
do you
I'm
love
about to
me?
pick a guy that
Something.
I think could ultimately be the number one running back when he comes back. That's Aaron Jones. Yeah.
God, Aaron Jones was available this late? Wow, that's actually kind of interesting. I like the pick, honestly. I think he's a good player. He showed out pretty well last year until he got hurt, No way.
Little known fact, Frank Gore is still on the board too.
So is Des
ladies and gentlemen.
That was Des Bryant.
All right, you know what?
Oh shit!
I'm gonna skip him.
Be quiet, because I was really gonna pick him next.
They're gonna be like, why?
Not even joking.
If we're going for high upside later on in the draft, everything I've heard coming out of camp, baby, is that John Ross looks good. He looks deadly, and he looks fast as shit, which I like. All right, yeah. Shut up. So
well, he should be.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick my quarterback here. I'm in the 12th round. I feel like it's a pretty good place. The quarterbacks, I'm kind of getting to the end of where I feel it's acceptable to pick one, and I feel good about it at this point. I'm gonna go with someone we talked about earlier. I really like the team, low-key, like the team a lot, and he was an MVP candidate last year. So let's go ahead and grab Alex Smith. I like consistency with my quarterbacks. I like I mean, you don't get penalized a lot for your quarterback throwing an interception. It's only like -2. So surprisingly, guys, Blake Bortles has been like a top 10 fantasy quarterback. I'm telling you. Yeah, okay.
Wrong.
I'll give you the stats. Chad, what do you?
Yeah,
in,
a
but
couple
you should
players
probably
I'm
quit
trying to
those.
decide between. Actually, one just went off the board. I actually like Cameron Meredith that just went off before my pick. I think he's going to be the number 2 in New Orleans. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know this seems like an odd pick,
go ahead, man.
but this team did not really. They don't seem too high on their starter right now, and they've kept Kenneth Davis or Dixon. Besides the fact that he's suspended and injured every year, they keep him on the roster, and they paid Alex Collins nothing. And I think they really like Kenneth Dixon. They want to give him a shot. I mean, again, this is one of those things that at this point in the draft, you're looking for players that could emerge out of nowhere. And I actually think Kenneth Dixon is somebody to watch out for.
I think he died. I think. Oh, here he is.
So I do
keep cutting out, and it's hilarious.
That is very insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. My Wi-Fi sucks.
Let's just say your Kenneth Dixon picks suck balls. And let's move on from there. All right, Tex, you went Austin Seferian-Jenkins. You think he's just got high upside this year?
Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah, they brought him in. I mean, he was a free agent. I know that they have. Who do they have? Is it? I wanted to say Lee, but it's not Lee. Mercedes Lewis.
Nice.
That's right.
It.
But
Thomas, your pick is
I
up,
really
man.
like
Hit me with it.
Austin Seferian-Jenkins upside. Yeah, so went ahead and went with him.
Uh-oh.
Hit him with your best shot.
I'm gonna hit you with the best shot.
Fire away. He's sleeping, by the way.
Not yet.
Nice.
It's
Yep.
keeping me up.
143.
What, about 13 seconds?
Thomas, what kind of a late round fantasy guy are you? You like a high upside? You like to go with just kind of solid? You like handcuffs? What's your thing?
He loves high handcuffs. I'll say. Oh, sorry.
I just want something that'll give me trade value down the line. If I gotta play them, I gotta play them. If I don't have to, I don't have to. It just depends on how everything plays out, and you never know who's going to get suspended for PEDs or whatever. So you're sitting on something.
Danny Amendola, the only guy in NFL history to get hurt on the bench.
Thomas, you're back on auto pick, but
no,
I don't know if you meant to do that or not.
Yeah, probably. Fucking Danny Amendola.
We talking about practice.
Yeah, because he doesn't care about defense or kicker.
All right. Thomas is back up. Man, I'm seeing two games right now on this list that I really like. Tex, they're in the next 15. Can you tell me who those two players are? And no, it's not James Washington. Yeah, I'm looking at the list right now. Yeah, two of them that I really like.
Players?
Yep.
Two players that you really like. Let me see your team.
Yep, nice. It's either him or Jordan Wilkins, man.
You got a
Feel
bench.
like we talked about it earlier. I think Jordan Wilkins
Mike Williams
is going to be kind of ridiculous this year.
And
I think he has the potential to really go off later on in the year, especially with Andrew Luck back under center, so teams can't just load up the box and go after the quarterback as much as they want to, especially because that offensive line is better. Jesus.
Yeah, he's gonna get off a lot or go off a lot this year.
When he did that?
No, I went defense. I like Chargers. I was gonna go with the Vikings, but that was picked by the draft guru. Makes sense.
Or the Cowboys.
You don't have a name like Draft Guru, and pick the Falcons for your defense. So the Cowboys are going to have a pretty ridiculous defense this year. So you can. I'm not even joking. I'm being 100%. Well, since they're ranked one on the other.
This particular draft run, I feel like we have a ton of bench spots. I usually only play 5. We have 7, which is kind of a lot. And I typically don't do this, but I'm going to take a defense now. That I'm really hot. Yeah, and I usually take it with my second to last pick. So.
Well, it is a draft. You have to take a defense at some point. And what better time than round 13? Well, that's dumb. I'm going to take mine in the 4th round.
All dicks. So. All right, let's see. And there are who? All right, let's see.
You want to shove my what? Tell me this: if you're a player and you're just hanging out with your buddies and they're doing their draft, and you're a player like, I'm just going to throw it out there, T.J. Yeldon, and you see somebody like Frank Gore ranked ahead of you, do you contemplate killing yourself, or do you just sweep it under the mat and say, yeah, Jonathan Stewart and Frank Gore are both still ranked ahead of me?
Actually, I'm going to pick the best kicker in the game.
Fucking failure. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Did you guys see the news article that Robert Agoyo is actually
Roberto
might get the Chargers
not the best kicker in the game?
This year?
No, I thought that guy was
whatever.
Yeah. No. Wow, what a bigot!
Oh, so Deontay Foreman is now
turned every person's name into a Caucasian name. Roberto, fuck it, I'm gonna call him Robert.
And that makes me sad. I love Deontay Foreman. Like those 2 runs that he had in that game, his second touchdown run when he got hurt was beautiful.
I love him too. I'm just afraid he's not going to be healthy.
That'll be set. What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus.
Yeah. He probably will end up killing himself, so. Well, we're at 1 hour and 7 minutes, so if anybody is actually listening this long,
the end of the draft is
they're probably wanting to kill themselves.
Just to see when you can get value and with good upside and what different strategies are. Like Chad just went Corey Clement. Like Chad, do you think he's actually going to get as many touches as he did last year?
JJ.
With what's his name coming?
Oh, are you talking about Darren Sproles? Hello.
Oh God, text the running back.
Hello.
Darren Sproles, dick. I know. I hate you so much. Yeah, I've heard Darren Sproles looks good.
Darren Sproles.
I think if Darren Sproles,
I just wanted to see Waller for a second.
They can play him. Like he's going to be on the field doing things, and it's not just for like some special teams bullshit. You know what I mean?
You guys there?
I hate you.
We'll see.
Oh, I can hear you guys. I'm back.
He's an undrafted rookie last year. He made some solid plays. I definitely see there's a ton of upside. Yeah.
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, Chad,
you guys have moved.
Remember, reduce your talking to 3 words or less because you cut out.
I was going to say, even with Darren Sproles back, I think you were talking about.
Just so you know,
the season, He got a lot of red zone carries, even with Jay Ajayi there. So again, it's a late round flyer, and we'll see what happens.
Sure, Thomas. What are you doing here? I don't even know what your team look like. What's my team look like, Coach? I don't even.
He doesn't know what his team looks like, Coach.
Every coach's conversation with
how many fingers am I holding up? Yes. No, son. How many fingers? You sure are.
Oh, okay. I was going to say he's a disciple. He's his cousin.
Cooper Kupp is Wes Welker reincarnated.
There you go. Let me see here.
I'm here.
He's a gangster disciple, so don't fuck with him.
I'm going taking a homer pick.
There he is. I like it. Like
3.
So what's that offense going to look like for the first how many games?
We'll see.
Game is suspended?
No, it's 3.
Yikes.
Yeah, priorities, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, that was 4.
You get 4 for deflating balls. You get 3 for touching the girl in appropriate places.
All right, cool. I'm picking my defense. I just picked my tight end. I ended up going O.J. Howard, actually. I think that another season under his belt. He's probably hard at work, and I think with as athletic as he is, Ryan Fitzpatrick is smart enough, hopefully, to realize that and get him some balls. We'll see, though. I'm going to go ahead and snag. For my defense, I'm going to go Cardinals. I think that I don't know. I really don't know at that point. Honestly, I'm probably just going to go flyer and go for matchups later on in the season for defense, like a lot of people do. I mean, the Cardinals, I think, have the potential to probably have a good defense, but the fact of the matter is is that I have no faith whatsoever in their offense at all. So I think the defense might get worn out, but we'll see. Tex, what do you think?
To be honest, I was reading a Yahoo article that said Omarosa, Trump showed mental decline in interview.
I like it.
I'm sorry. I was kind of just grabbed my attention. So, and like I've ran out of my Vyvanse.
Yahoo article.
So ADD is hitting me hardcore. I'm gonna go ahead and draft Dan Bailey.
Kane wins Tennessee mayoral race.
Right.
So Kane is now, he's a mayor.
Oh man,
he hasn't officially retired
really awesome,
either.
Actually. Just
holy shit, that's pretty badass.
Right.
He had an easy victory over Democrat.
Did everybody else just
in Knox County
concede so that he would win? Because I mean, I wouldn't fuck with Kane.
I love it. So, how did everybody feel about their draft? Tex, go ahead.
I didn't mind it at all. We're still in the preseason, so it's anyone's game. I think the big thing to take away from this is, don't be too set on the rankings in whatever draft you're in. If you feel a guy is going to be good, as long as you're not necessarily reaching for him, and he's got a 8th round average draft position,
it's all right.
Pick him up in the second.
If I went into this,
but don't be afraid to reach for players that you really feel are going to do good.
One of the things you have to remember about the draft is I like to make a lot of moves throughout the season, so you don't win your league at the draft. So I wouldn't get too bent out of shape over your draft. There's always players that emerge. I think there's going to be a ton of rookies this season that have major impacts that are getting drafted really late or not at all. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. But yeah, no, overall it's an okay draft. I had that one little hiccup when my computer decided that I wanted Deshaun Watson. Even though I guess there's worse quarterbacks. I just wouldn't have taken a quarterback that early. I like to take quarterbacks a little bit later. But yeah, I'm all right with my team.
Sure. Thomas, how do you feel about your draft, bud?
I feel like I could beat all your guys' asses.
The funny part is he probably would. He's like barely paying attention, just fucking drafting.
No, the thing is, like, the thing you have to look at is like who's playing who in which week, who's going to put up what kind of stats, and I mean, like the NFC is like the toughest conference to play in. So like where you draft is where you're going to put your numbers.
I like it.
And so if you're playing for a numbers game, like that's where it's going to be.
Kind of hit all the
so
points. Really
play the AFC.
Such a dick. All right, yeah, we're good.
Well, nobody asked you, Seb. So cool. Thank you guys so much for listening.
I enjoyed this. Thanks for coming on, boyos. Thanks for sticking with us until the end. We really appreciate it. We'll have you on again sometime when Chad's internet isn't just making him sound.
Well,
like,
I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
The robot that they used in Dr. Roboto. So yeah. Nice. Yeah. You can check us out on social media. We still do things around there sometimes. Check us out on the website and subscribe. So let's please do it.
You've been listening to the Backups Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, find us on iTunes, and visit the website at www.thebackups.com with a Z for more.